Hi guys, I'm MagzScorpio and today I'm bringing you another Black Ops 2 best class setup. Now today I'm going to be covering my best class for the MP7. This setup is probably different from what you usually see for the MP7, but it definitely works for me and I'm sure it will start working for you after only a few games. As you can see on the screen, I have a picture of the setup, and basically it's the MP7 with a reflex sight using the Steve reticle and the suppressor, and I'll explain that all in a minute. I'm going to be taking two perk 1s, which are Ghost and Hardline. Perk 2 I'm taking Toughness, and for my final perk I'm taking Dexterity. I'm using the C4 as my lethal and an EMP grenade as my tactical. So that's the setup, and as the gameplay goes on, I'm going to explain why the setup is the way it is. Now, the reason I'm using the reflex sight on the MP7 is because I find it really useful to help you get headshots, and the Steve reticle is the best reticle for this job. And also, I'm just very used to using the reflex sight because it helps me get my headshots. But I'll cover that in a later episode on how to get your headshots. If you are happy with the iron sight on the MP7 though, you can switch out for another attachment. And if you are, I'd recommend 3 of them. Quick draw because it helps you aim down your sights faster and get better accuracy. Fast mags, so you're never in a position where reloading will get you killed. Or the extended clip, which means you don't have to reload much and you can take out multiple enemies at once. I'm using the suppressor in order to stay off the radar because this really helps you stay alive, because the other enemies who you haven't just killed don't have a clue as to where you are. To back up this idea of staying off the radar, I'm running Ghost, and this allows me to tiptoe around the enemy spawn even when they have a UAV and still stay unnoticed, while still getting a lot of kills. I'm using the MP7 for this stealthy build because it has decent range, so you don't always have to get super close range kills. It has a decent fire rate and high damage, which helps you win those all-important gunfights. Now, as I said, I'm taking 2 perk 1s, and as I said, it's Hardline as my second perk 1. Hardline is very useful because it reduces the score needed to get your score streaks, and because we're running a stealthy class and we can afford to run high score streaks, it makes Hardline even more useful. The 2 score streak setups I'd recommend: one is the Orbital VSAT, the Swarm, and the K9 or the Escort Drone, and the other is the UAV, Sentry Gun, and Orbital VSAT. I'd recommend the VSAT because it helps you see where the enemies are at all times, the Swarm because it's getting you a lot of kills, and then K9 for kills or Escort Drone to watch your back and get kills. I use the UAV because it's easy to get, the Sentry Gun because it can also watch your back, and as I said, the VSAT so you know where the enemies are. Now for this class, perk 2 is also very important because it's Toughness. Now Toughness is very important because it means you flinch less, which means that you're more likely to win your gunfights, which is very important because you're going to be in a lot of them. And sometimes Toughness is the difference maker in these gunfights as it allows you to stay on target whilst being shot at. For my final perk, as I said, I'm taking Dexterity. Now this is also a very important perk because when you're running around you probably have to pull up your gun fast to kill some enemies. This, like Toughness, can also be a very important factor in a gunfight because if you see an enemy at the same time as they see you, it's going to be the person who pulls up their gun fastest who wins the gunfight, and by having Dexterity it gives you a clear advantage. As I said, for my lethal I'm taking C4 because it's so powerful and because I'm never going to be in a very long range gunfight, so I don't need something like a Semtex or grenade. C4 is also very good at clearing out buildings, and sometimes if you're fast enough, when you're being shot at, you can quickly throw the C4, detonate it by tapping X or square if you play on the PlayStation 3, and stay alive, when if you chose to shoot, then you would have lost the gunfight and died. My tactical, as I said, is the EMP grenade because it's so overpowered. Instead of having to waste all of your ammo in a class without scavenger, you can just throw an EMP and easily take out enemy equipment and score streaks like shock charges or sentry guns. This tactical is also very well suited to the class because of its huge range. This tells you if you're in the right part of the map to be getting into gunfights and getting some kills. So that's the class setup I use, and I think you should definitely give it a try. Leave a comment below on your opinion of it and any other guns you want to use and you want us to make a good class setup for. Now the gameplay is coming to a close, and I have to say I was in the end pretty disappointed with it. it's 52-2, but I was going 51-0, and I die about a kill off my third swarm in my life, whilst I had a V set up, which was very disappointing. I guess my aim just went a bit messed up, probably because my high sensitivity. Still, it's good gameplay with a good setup, so make sure to leave a like, and I'll see you all on the next video.